the reason I didn't trade this was because what you read in the title was correct. I was one losing trade away from blowing my account. All right, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is the first time that you're tuning in, I want to thank you for giving me your time. This is the YouTube channel where I'm just documenting my trading journey. As you can tell, I sound very different in this video, and that's because I'm getting over a cold. I finally feel like I'm getting over the hump though, so let's get into this video. First and foremost, I want to thank Tektronix.com for sponsoring this series. If you're looking to build your dream PC with the best available parts in the market, make sure you go and check out the link in the description, Tektronix.com. They offer a 1-year warranty on every item on their website, and make sure you use my discount code RTFLV for 10% off at checkout. If you've been wondering what broker I use for my FX trades, the link is down in the description. I use Hero FX, so if you're looking for a new broker, I have the link down there. Use the link. Thank you so much for 890 subscribers. I know by the time this video goes up, we'll probably be at 900, but if we're not, thank you so much for 890 either way. I wouldn't be able to do it without you and the man upstairs. Gotta thank him always. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how your trading journey has been going down in the description. Let me know how your week went. Make sure you follow me on Instagram for sure. You gotta get the Instagram to 1K. It's Lewis Visuals on Instagram. Popped up somewhere around here. All right, we should just get into this video and talk about what happened this past week. So let's not waste any time and let's get straight into the charts. Actually, before we get into everything that we're gonna talk about in this video for the review about the week, I want to talk about what ended up happening. So I was thinking while I was editing the video from last week, if you haven't checked out that video, go and check it out. I was wondering how I went from being up 3% in the account to losing all that profit in about 2 days. That just made me think about my risk management, and I had to come up with some type of risk management plan. So I sat down and actually wrote my risk management plan down, and I wanted to read it for you guys just in case you've been struggling with your risk management. I just got overconfident in trying to pass the account extremely fast, and that's why I kind of slipped up on my risk management, but I had to make sure I had it written down so that that wouldn't happen again. And it did help a lot this week, especially with how the week went. Let me just read it to you guys. All right, so I wrote it down here. My risk management this is for the start of every week. This is what I'm going to do every week. Starting contract size is 5 full contracts. That is the max for the rules on prop firms, or at least for the prop firm that I'm taking. In bold, I wrote, don't lose more than 1% no matter what. That is given on every day. I try extremely hard to stay under 0.5%, 0.4% on a daily basis, but definitely don't lose more than 1% on a given day. If I win my first trade setup, I'm done for the day, unless I'm up above 4% profit on the week and I see an A+ setup. If I lose my first trade, I reduce second trade entry to 3 contracts max while being aware of how much I lost on my first trade. Once I get back what I just lost in my first trade and I am back at the same equity size that I had before taking the L, I am then allowed to use 5 contracts again on the next day, 2 trades maximum. If I lose again, I am done for that day. I will size down to 2 contracts on the next day until I get back out of weekly drawdown. On that next day, if I lose for 2 contracts, I reduce down to 1 contract per trade until I end off the week. The goal is to preserve capital and to trust my edge. That is my money management plan going into the future, and it helped me this week for sure. And if I'm being 100% honest, I didn't follow that plan to the T this week. I think it's going to take me a little bit of time to really get disciplined at following these rules, but let's get into this video. But this is the week that we just ended up having. Had a down day Monday, rose for the rest of the week, and then today just crashed. I didn't see that move down today. I'll explain it later on in the video, so stay tuned for that, and also stay tuned for the end of the video where I show you exactly how much I have in the account. I do that at the end of every video, so you want to make sure you stay into that point. All right, but like I said, this week you can tell we might end up going into some type of down move. As you can see, we have a buy side imbalance right here, so I think that next week we could be drawing lower into that buy side imbalance, and then we'll see what we do from there if we want to go back up. But this looks like a rejection block with these big wicks. You could tell that the closures were very close to the previous week, so I think we will head down for the next upcoming week. So let's just see how that ends up going. But let's get into the actual days. So this is what the week looked like in the 15-minute lower time frame. I don't remember too much about the trades from earlier on in the week. I was extremely sick this week, so I don't remember what ended up happening too well. I know what happened on Tuesday and Wednesday, but Monday I can't remember too well. I don't think I have any screenshots of the actual trade that I took on Monday. I know that I had a losing day, if I remember correctly. I think I might have took 2 longs on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. Got caught in the manipulation, as you can see here. here and just ended up crashing. We had Monday was a down day. I don't know why I thought we were gonna end up rising, especially after we had this big dump on Friday and Thursday. So I'm not too sure. But yeah, I think I took too longs on Monday. I don't remember if I was in profit and let them just stop me out instead of taking profits where it would have been logical, because I think I might have got into this trade somewhere down here and then rode it out or got in late. I don't remember what happened exactly. Let me see if I can see anything in the lower time frames in terms of what I took. But for sure, I think I took too longs on Monday and price was just not, it was going lower. It manipulated higher. I think I entered somewhere around here somewhere. I think I took a long. I saw myself in profit, came back down. I didn't manage my risk. It ended up stopping me out, or I think I might have done it somewhere around here before this move once, and then again somewhere here once we took this sell side imbalance. Well, I'm not too sure. I don't remember, but clearly the move was not that. That was not the move on Monday. Clearly the move, if you go on the 15 minute, you can see it. It's extremely clear. And what I've been working on, especially towards the end of this week, is just refining my draw on liquidity and trying to figure out how to get it down a bit better, because it's not that difficult to really find the draw on liquidity. You just have to pay attention to what PD arrays are being respected, what fair value gaps are being respected, and which ones aren't, and then you can really tell what the draw on liquidity is going to be. Like for example, we have all these mini imbalances over here. Clearly this was the imbalance. Oh, you can see there was a breaker as well, but clearly the imbalance was right there, and price came up into that imbalance and rejected immediately, targeting lows. You could have targeted this low down here, this imbalance right here, and that could have been your target. As you can see here, I was in profit and saw myself get taken out. I think this was my second trade. That is my fault. I should have at least noticed that it was going to come down. It looked like it came down pretty quickly, if I'm not mistaken, but I got into the trade in this wick, saw it go up and then came back down, crashed me. I think I might have entered one more before this trade that got me stopped out as well, and I was using 5 contracts on the first, and I think I reduced down to 3 on the second trade, but I did see myself with a bit of profit and ended up seeing it go all the way down. So that comes with just not realizing what the draw on liquidity is, like I said, because if I remove this now, like I was saying with the draw on liquidity, if we come down and take out these equal lows down here, come back up, and as you see, there's a bunch of imbalances over here. They might be small, but they're still significant. You can see that one was respected. If we came down and pushed through this, obviously the draw on liquidity would be higher. On the higher time frame, this would have been the draw on liquidity if it would have pushed through that. So you could have had a target of here with these 2 equal highs, and then this one as well, and this one as well with the higher time frame sell side imbalance that's up here. But as you can see, came up to this imbalance and rejected, meaning that the draw on liquidity was lower. As soon as I saw this reaction right here with this candle, and then the next one forming like this, I should have closed down my position and thought about my bias. Now I'm paying a lot more attention to that for the rest of the week, but that should have been my entry right there. I saw that rejection in the 15 minute, probably marked that out, because that was an imbalance that was in premium if we were going to go lower, which is perfect for shorts. We also had a high right here, which is even more liquidity. That would have been perfect. I could have gone down into the 1 minute. We get above equilibrium, we tap the 15 minute imbalance, reject, come back up, swoop that 15 minute imbalance, and then head down lower. If I could zoom in, as you can see, market structure shift below this low. This becomes a breaker as well. So as we get back into the breaker, that could have been the entry for if you want to be really secure on it, you could have had your stop there and targeted, like I said, that low from before, which is probably like around here. If you wanted to be safe, that could have been your RR. If you wanted to play it better on the risk to reward and had your stop right above the breaker, it would have been almost a 7R. So that is the way that you could have seen this. And if you would have held even later on for the end of the day, you would have had a better RR. But I would have got this setup, I would have been fine with it. This would have been a fine setup to take. Like I said, just pay attention to what is being respected and what is not. As you can see here, this sell side imbalance was disrespected, meaning the draw on liquidity was higher. How high? It shows right there. Up to these highs, which were the buy side liquidity that the market needed to soup, along with generating another set of buy side liquidity right here. Souped it and then rejected and reversed. This was also a breaker here. I could have entered from, if I'm not mistaken, this and targeted these highs. This would have been a fun trade as well. I had my stuff right there. That could have been a good trade, but I wasn't paying attention to that. I was trying to get a bigger trade for this Monday. I would have done this as well from where I entered from to where the initial buy side liquidity was of this day. We hit the 75% of the fib and then reverse. 75% of the fib is where price tends to reverse from, so that could have been something that I should have seen as well and took off on my position right there. But let's just move on to the next day. Tuesday, if I remember correctly, Tuesday I had my buys wrong, but my initial trade was the perfect sniper entry for the day. As you can see, we went long. This was my initial trade. The only reason why I had it up to here was because there was if I'm not mistaken, on the 4-hour, I don't remember what happened Tuesday too much, but I do remember this. I ended up having the perfect sniper entry, and then I just read back on my notes, and on Tuesday I remember exactly what happened. I was anticipating us while we were around this range to come down, take out sell side liquidity, and tap into this imbalance to rebalance it, to then get higher and purge and revert from that high to then go lower for this sell side liquidity and this side liquidity. But what I did notice, and what should have gave me more confidence to have higher expectations for price and maybe target highs up here, especially this high up here. As you can see, this should have been what the trade was. At some point, I think I would have ended up taking something off around here once I saw price start to come back down and disrespect this buy side imbalance. But as you can see, it came into this order block and then just took off again, which would have been a 18R, which is ridiculous because that is the sniper entry that I caught, but I ended up closing it by accident. And I remember I was anticipating a purge and revert. It just doesn't make sense because we had a higher time frame SMT. We had a daily SMT on Tuesday with NQ taking Monday's low and ES not taking Monday's low. So that should have been my sign to just be looking for buys on this day. I decided not to over trade. I think I took another sell somewhere. I think once we got up here, took a sell, and then it ended up coming back up and stopping me out when I should have just been looking for buys all day. Either way, I had that sniper entry and I caught it on the soup of that last low before price went up. So you can see we had the higher time frame SMT down here. We come down, we soup these lows and hit a higher time frame imbalance, a 15-minute imbalance, and then price just takes off. So you can see the only thing that happened to me was that I closed my position right about here by accident, and man, that just ended up messing with my mojo all day. And then like I said, I had that, I don't know why I thought we were gonna purge and revert to go lower. I was just trying to force my will onto the charts instead of just reacting to the charts, because if we go back, it's very clear that we were gonna go up, especially on the 4-hour. You can see it right here. This candle right here was the purge and revert. I should have seen that, caught that low, and then boom, just let price do its thing, and then you can see what it ended up doing for the rest of the day. Let's just move on to Wednesday. Wednesday was more of a whack, just chop day, which I ended up taking L's on as well. As you can see, Wednesday, it was another day where I had a winning position that I closed by accident. If I'm not mistaken, I believe I bought around here, around this area for sure. Bought a little bit late. I was gonna buy somewhere down here. You can see I had it marked off there, but I ended up buying down here once we were supported by this 15-minute imbalance. To the left, we had support there, and I don't remember if there was an SMT or not, but price ended up coming up, and that move alone would have got me over 1%, so I think I would have been good. But for some reason, I was looking for shorts thereafter, and then price came down and then came back up, just kept stopping me out. I believe it was somewhere in around these wick that I started coming back down, because I thought, okay, yeah, this was the day. I thought this right here was a breaker, which is, you know, high, low, higher, high, and then lower, low. So this technically would be a breaker. It did drive price down, but not fast enough for what I needed to. I think I was just being too impatient on this day and not letting price do its thing. But price did come back, and I believe I just got caught in this accumulation before the move down, and I probably could have had some type of position around here. I think I had another sell like around here somewhere, and price just came back up, which just doesn't make sense. So just waited, price came back up into this imbalance, came down, and then took out these lows. That was the trade that I should have been looking for if I was looking for shorts. Either way, I had another winning position, and I ended up stopping. I ended up closing it out by accident once again on Wednesday, which is frustrating, but what can I say? Let's just move on to Thursday. Thursday. What a day on Thursday. All right, this was a trade that I should have taken. I don't think I took this trade on Thursday. This was the trade that I missed. I noticed on this day that, well, I noticed that a little bit too late, but I had noticed that on a higher time frame, we had just completed a market maker model. So that move on Thursday, it was literally the kiss of death. And for those that don't know what the kiss of death is when price just heads straight to its target without letting anybody get a chance to get out of their positions. So that is what happened to me on Thursday. So you can see here, Thursday we had an SMT at these lows. So I should have been looking out for that and maybe entered on one of these candles while we were going up. I was waiting for some type of retracement, and then once it started going up, I went to the higher time frame one more time, and I was like, oh, this is the kiss of death. No wonder it didn't retrace. It did not care about that. It went up, came down. I was looking for sells somewhere around here after we took out this buy side. It took out this buy side, and then I forget where I had my stop. I think I had it around here. It stopped me out, and then I don't remember too well what happened after. I think I might have took one more trade somewhere around here and ended up stopping me out one more time. But then I was like, I think it's gonna go lower, and I didn't trade this. I was like, I'm just done for the day since I already had taken my 2 hours. The reason I didn't trade this was because what you read in the title was correct. I was one losing trade away from blowing my account, and that's just a combination of all the little mistakes that ended up happening with me closing my positions by accident and then just having incorrect reads on bias. Just nonsense. Like, really, I understand exactly what I messed up on, and I have corrected it. This trade would have saved me, and I just didn't allow myself to trade after that. I saw that we had came back up to soup this high right here. We were rejecting off a higher time frame level. We came down. I could have targeted this low over here. We ended up being hit around the afternoon session, as you can see here. It did end up getting hit around the afternoon session. I just didn't allow myself to take this trade. I should have at least thought about it. This would have got me out of drawdown, and then with the trade that I had today, I would have been up maybe 2% on the week. As of happening, I had lost those 2 trades and missed out on this good trade, which I would have probably ended up closing out around here somewhere. Once I know this price was coming back up and rejected this high, I was targeting the consequent encroachment of that high, which doesn't make sense. I just have to go for the low-hanging fruit in terms of my targets, because it would be more logical for price to run up to this high than to get all the way to the consequent encroachment, or at least take most of my position off at this high and then leave a runner just to see what ends up happening. I saw this, I didn't take it. I wasn't too upset, but yeah, let's just go into the last day, which is today, Friday. Friday was the day where it was do or die. Honestly, I think I was risking, not on purpose, but I was risking the amount that, and I want to show you guys what I really ended up doing. So as you can see here, this is what price was doing right before I entered this trade. We had hit a higher time frame imbalance, and we had just swooped a low. As you can see, we came down, swooped that low, and then we were supporting this higher time frame imbalance. As soon as I noticed this sell side imbalance get disrespected and we broke structure, I was ready for price to boom. I knew price was gonna go higher because the draw on liquidity was higher. ES was in a bullish fair value gap, and it was respecting that bullish fair value gap. NQ was below the bullish fair value gap, but we still had time on the candles, so it could have gone up, and that was the move that I ended up catching. The move up on that, because I knew price was gonna be supported by that. So I knew the draw on liquidity initially was this high. That was my target. It was almost a 6R, and this is what I ended up doing. Price came down, I bought right there, and I rode it out to the top all the way up. News came out at 10, and as you can see, it ended up going straight to my target. I ended up taking one partial around the 75% of the fib. I took one more partial right here. I took off one contract at the 75% of the fib. I took another contract at this rejection block, and then I left the rest of my position run until this high. What I should have done was take one partial at the 75% of the fib and then let the rest of the contracts run. But I got my profit back. I made about 1% on this trade, so it got me out of drawdown. I'm good until next week, and I just wanted to show you what I ended up seeing this week. I think I was just more observant of price, and my draw on liquidity is what I have to work on. So I've been working on my draw on liquidity and being a little bit more patient to see where order flow is going, see what fair value gaps are being respected, because price only does a certain amount of things, and that is draw to liquidity, rebalance inefficiencies, rebalance to equilibrium, and generate liquidity. So I saw price sweep liquidity below these lows. It rebalanced a higher time frame inefficiency see, and I targeted the clear draw on liquidity because sell side imbalance was respected, sell side imbalance disrespected. This was the very important sell side imbalance because it was the only sell side imbalance that was up in a premium. So if we would have came up here and rejected off the sell side imbalance, then I would have known that the draw on liquidity would have been lower and I would have closed out my position. I was trailing my stop, which is good risk management. So this was the most important fair value gap. Once I saw that we ran through that, I was like, okay, I'm pretty confident that this is the draw on liquidity. And as you can see, I ended up crushing that. Later on in the day, it ended up going all the way down, but I was already out of the market. I wasn't even paying attention to the markets at this point. There's really no point of doing that. Yeah, that's the week that I ended up having. Let's go into my Topstep account to show you what the account is at. All right, but as you can see, this is what the account is at. I ended up coming up very clutch. As you can see, it was just days of nonsense, but it is a lot better because here lost $500. That's 1%. Another 1% there. Made 45 on this day, but then look how much I'm losing now. 200, 131, 136. This is the type of losses that I want to have to these type of wins. Almost 1% on the win, and the only reason why it was a little bit lower was because I had a limit order and forgot to modify my sell stop to the amount of contracts that I had. So I had the initial 5 contracts, so my sell stop was sell 5, and I took partials, so I didn't modify it into sell 3 instead of sell 5. So it hit my target and then put me into a sell position, and I didn't want to do that, so I had to close it really fast, but it didn't take that much profit. But yeah, this is the trading stats. As you can see here, I'll let you guys see all that. You could check it out yourself. I'm not gonna say too much about next week. I'm just gonna wait out and see what ends up happening. This is something that I've been looking for this week very much. I'm just gonna clear it out right here, remove all my drawings, all gone. I'm ready for the next week. I'm ready for the next week. Let's see what the next week has. But so we hit this rejection block, and as you see, we're going down, but we also have that imbalance lower, so we'll see what ends up happening. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how your trading journey is going down in the comments. Use my discount code RTFLV for 10% off on your dream PC at Tektronix.com. If you're looking for a broker for your FX trades, use my Hero FX. My link is down in the description, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.